Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're embarking on quite a compelling exploration into the heart of modern Nepali literature. Our focus is this novel, Ek-Sarko,
Right.
which interestingly translates to something like a drop of love, or maybe a moment of love.
Yeah, something along those lines. Already hints at something delicate, maybe.
Exactly. Delicate yet profound, I think. It's by the acclaimed writer Subin Bhattarai. And we've got this brilliant review to guide us. So our mission, really, for this deep dive is to pull out the key insights from that review.
Okay.
We want to understand what makes this novel feel significant, emotionally resonant, and maybe what it can teach you about the universal, the sometimes messy complexities of love and connection.
And it really does offer a unique lens, I think, a specific cultural perspective on modern love.
Right.
What's really insightful looking at the review is how it shows literature, like this book, acting as a mirror.
A mirror, how so?
Well, reflecting societal shifts, yeah. Evolving personal truths, but also that enduring human search for real connection, something that kind of goes beyond borders.
That makes sense. Building on that idea, that universal connection, let's maybe turn to the story itself.
Okay.
The review describes Ek-Sarko, focusing on characters who all live on the same city street.
Right. Neighbors.
Yeah, but from really different backgrounds. And through these, unusual encounters, they start building these quite deep emotional relationships. Yeah. It sounds like the kind of story that just sort of quietly pulls you in.
It does seem that way. In the review, it really hammers home that the novel's central message isn't just, romance.
No.
It portrays love as something much bigger. It talks about understanding pain and acceptance.
Understanding pain and acceptance. Wow.
Yeah. And this broader definition, it's significant, isn't it? Because it makes us look at maybe the less shiny parts of connection.
The tougher stuff.
Exactly. It's not just the spark. It's how understanding often comes through, conflict sometimes. How pain isn't just incidental, but maybe necessary for growth. And acceptance, that's that quiet, sort of hard-won thing that lets relationships last, past the easy phase.
That deeper, maybe grittier view makes a lot of sense. And what really jumped out at me from the review was how relatable it sounds. It calls the characters realistic, like they feel like our neighbor is good, flawed, and emotional.
Right.
What do you think helps build that authenticity?
Well, the review points specifically to this idea. Simple language, deep meaning.
Okay. Simple language, deep meaning.
Yeah, and that combination is, it's pretty powerful. The simple language makes it accessible, right? Like a clear window.
So you can just step in?
Exactly. No barriers. You feel that neighborly thing you mentioned straight away. But through that ease, it manages to convey these really profound ideas about relationships.
You feel it alongside them.
You do. It's not telling you. It's showing you, letting you feel it.
And it's not just timeless stuff, is it? The review says Ek-Sarko reflects modern love, too.
Oh, definitely.
Mentions things like social media, urban life, those fast-changing relationships we see now. How does it capture the pulse of today?
Well, that seems to be where the novel's psychological perspective comes in strong.
Ah, okay.
The review highlights its subtle portrayal of characters' emotions and their inner conflicts.
Subtle, not heavy-handed?
Right. It's not spelling everything out. It's maybe through internal thoughts or small reactions that you see their real motivations, their hidden struggles.
I see.
And diving into their psyche like that, it just enriches the story. It explores the why they act or feel certain ways in this fast world. Maybe showing how city anonymity pushes neighbors together, ironically, or how those fleeting digital connections clash with the deeper bonds people actually crave.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So we've looked at the core, the unique qualities. Let's talk about the strengths the review highlights and maybe some of the nuances or criticisms. It praises the realistic presentation, the engaging style, and calls it an innovative experiment in Nepali urban love stories. That's pretty high praise.
It really is. But yes, it also mentions what it calls weaknesses.
Right. Now, where are they again?
It suggests the story might be predictable in some places.
Okay.
And that the climax might not be as miraculous as expected.
Oh, not miraculous.
Yeah. But that raises a question for us, doesn't it? Are these actual weaknesses? Or could they be part of the novel's, realism, its unique appeal?
What do you mean?
Well, a less miraculous climax, for instance. That could be a deliberate choice, right?
You keep it grounded.
Exactly. Ground the story in reality, maybe challenge our expectations for some big dramatic payoff. Instead, it reflects how things often resolve in real life. quietly, maybe imperfectly.
That's interesting.
It could actually enhance that feeling that these characters are our neighbors. Their lives, with predictable bits and less dramatic turns, are kind of like ours.
So the weakness might actually be a strength in disguise, depending on what the author was aiming for.
Potentially. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? How many stories subtly challenge our narrative expectations like that?
It really does. Okay, so pulling this all together, what does this mean for you listening in? Why is diving into this novel, Ek-Sarko relevant, especially if, Nepali literature isn't your usual go-to?
Well, it's relevant because the review flat out calls it a must-read.
A must-read.
Yeah, especially if you want to understand connection, love, and life's contradictions, which is pretty universal stuff.
True.
And it mentions Subin Bhattarai's easy writing style and character connection really keep readers hooked. That's why it got a solid 4 out of 5 stars.
So it connects, regardless of background.
Exactly. It's proof, really, of how a well-told story about just being human can resonate anywhere, whatever its specific cultural setting. It's a window.
A window into emotions and experiences we can all relate to on some level. Okay, so that pretty much wraps up our deep dive into the review of Ek-Sarko. We've sort of unpacked how this novel seems to blend that simplicity with real emotional depth, offering his unique, authentic view on love today.
Yeah, and maybe a final thought to leave you with. If this novel, exploring love as understanding pain and acceptance, can hit home across cultures,
Yes.
what does that really tell us about the truly universal bits of human connection, the things that tie us together regardless of where we live or the specific rules of our society?
What are those core truths?
Exactly. It makes you ponder what really connects us all underneath it all.
It's a great thought to end on. We hope exploring narratives from different places, like this one, gives you some fresh perspectives, maybe helps you understand your own experiences, and just the whole complex human condition a little bit better.